recording before we get to our slides. And yeah, let's get it going. All right, so today is July 30th. We are actually recording. This is our last meeting in July, so we are wrapping up to the end. As I've mentioned, let's see. We are recording interesting bits. I didn't think we had anything, and then last night a bunch of stuff showed up at my mailbox. So I mentioned all things open before. Registration is now open. This QR code will take you right to the free virtual event registration. It's free, so there's really no reason not to do it. They've got, looks like an interesting round of speakers. If you've gone to conferences before, a lot of conferences are very technical, and what you'll get is a lot of facts and figures. If you go, for example, to a radiologist conference, what you'll find are mostly case studies where they look at X number of patients, and they calculate statistical models that say whether they're within whether they can reject the null hypothesis that their research was inconsequential with 95% certainty and things like that. This is not like that. This is just a survey. It's a bunch of people with interesting topics, interesting jobs, talking about various aspects of open source. So it's perfectly fine to put this on in the background. It's perfectly fine. I guess I shouldn't say that. You should listen closely to everything everybody says, but if you happen to be doing it while you're working, it is something that you can get information out of without actually having to sit down and crunch the math during the conference. So, they talk about different aspects, different ways they use open source, the importance of open source to their communities, etc. I saw at least there were people from Google, there were people from a lot of open source commercial companies. So it's a good thing to attend, and it is free, and in person is only $99 if you happen to be in the North Carolina area or you have a way to get to North Carolina. So anyway, it should be fun. On the other hand, Grace Hopper is also open. I think that it's going to be virtual, completely virtual this year. If you're not familiar with Grace Hopper, it is a conference celebrating women in computing. You don't have to be a woman to go, but it is in celebration of women's contributions to computer science. I believe it's going to be virtual again this year. It's more expensive. It's $199. I will say that if you are interested in going, the CS department does sponsor a few people every year. RCOS has chipped in to sponsor people to the Grace Hopper conference as well. Generally through the CS department, it makes it easier for us to make decisions and to ensure that we're working with the department to get things going. This year, quite honestly, if it's a virtual conference, that $199 is a lot cheaper than sending people by planes to wherever this happens to be. So if you're interested in that, and I probably should have clicked through on the All Things Open, but I've done that before. This is Kara Swisher is the keynote. This is going to occur, I think, in October as well, maybe? Yeah, September, the end of September to the beginning of October, 58 days, 18 hours, 54 minutes, and 1 second. So, feel free to go there if you're interested in trying to get sponsorship to go there. I would talk to Megan Potter. She's the CS. She normally organizes this for the CS department. And I expect that there'll be some kind of announcement going out for it. Hannah, have you been? Were you one of the people we sent before? Or no, you're a sophomore. Rebecca, I'm sorry. Right? What? Rachel. I'm sorry. Oh well. So I just embarrassed myself because of COVID. I'm gonna claim that. Anyway, it took me 3 tries to get a student's name right, which is pathetic, especially since the same 12 people show up here most of the time. Okay, so yeah, anyway, if you're interested, you can reach out to Megan. I don't know how they're going to do it this year, but it never hurts to ask, and she's pretty friendly. Finally, on the new side, ESHIP, right? We've had a fairly close association with Severino Center over the years. Next semester, for example, if you guys are still doing an RCOS project, I would recommend that you sign up. If there's any way at all you can see about making a profit out of what you're doing, sign up for the ESHIP competition. They do a competition every year. You can actually do some user studies, figure out how to market, and decide what you're supposed to do with your project in order to get it to be commercially viable. There's a lot of projects here that could actually have some kind of a cool future. They will help you figure that out, and you might earn some money. And RCOS typically does very well in these competitions. We have a winner most years out of it. Automatic door control, which is one of our projects this year, again is a previous winner. Venue is a previous winner. So there are real actual positives to competing in it. Regardless, they are publicizing an IEEE Boston Hackathon. This isn't actually their hackathon, but Kelly posted in our opportunities, and it was an interesting post. This is using LiDAR data of Puerto Rico after a hurricane, and they want you to help them label the image. And the hackathon is about who can label the image appropriately or best. That's this weekend, I believe. Ooh, I'm sorry, maybe next weekend, August 7th through 9th. Yeah, and I think this is a virtual one as well, so we don't actually have to travel to Boston. It's sponsored by MIT Lincoln Lab and IEEE and a bunch of other places. So it'd be really cool for RPI to go in there and show MIT just how to do a hackathon. We are really very good at them. So kind of consider that if you're, we've had a lot of rain these last couple of weekends. We'll probably have rain next weekend. You're not going to have anything else to do. Get a team together and think about doing the Boston Hackathon and win prizes and money, etc. College students only, 2 to 4 members. And let's see. I think this is virtual, but yeah, because it looks like you just. Yeah, so it looks like that should be a fun little exercise. Go ahead and do it if you'd like. It's a good way to practice your skills. It's a good way to meet people, and if you can't do anything else in Troy in the summertime, at least you can sit in air-conditioned comfort and do a hackathon. Find a room you can still get into that's not locked, and hang out there and hack with your friends. Okay, just the last ones. The first day of this Ocean thing, Project Ocean, was Wednesday. If there was anybody, I just wanted to throw this up there in case anybody actually participated. We could give you a few minutes to tell us what happened or how it was. So anybody online, anybody in the room, just raise your hand in the room or let me know online. I'm thinking that this probably, just by the lack of enthusiasm right here, we probably didn't get any takers for it. All right. These are, these different opportunities are things where you can really stretch your legs. And then I just wanted to the Mike Wentworth from the Thatcher Climbing Coalition reached out to me again to see if we had anything. If we don't have any, if anybody is interested in making a little extra money, please reach out to Mike. I think that this would be pretty cool, and they're willing to put this out as open source. So we have a bunch of open source websites that have been developed at various incarnations in RCOS. You would be, you can certainly take any of those as a starting point, or start with the Thatcher guys and kind of start fresh. And like I said, they are willing to talk about payments. I'm also reaching out to see if they would like to mentor a project next semester if we can't get anybody today. But this is what their website looks like now. they would like to update it and improve it and make it, let's see, there's one thing here that just comes up over and over again. And that's not popping up. There was a pop-up issue a few days ago. All right, so just something else to keep in mind. Calendar, remember next week I am not here. We're not going to have class on Tuesday. You should meet in your small groups. And I do have something that I'm going to post probably tonight, but maybe anytime before Tuesday. That'll give you some things you can look at to help you as you kind of wrap up and as you plan your presentation. That is in place of Tuesday's meeting. I'm not going to put it on Venue and force you to watch it for credit. I'll give you credit for Tuesday, but I will throw it out there so that you have some resources that you can use to kind of help you out as you go forward. On Friday, Chuck Stewart is going to be our me. Professor Makis will actually host the WebEx. Chuck will stand here and make sure all the slides run correctly and go around. And I've asked, and the sound is working and everything. So you're still encouraged to show up. Let's show Chuck that we have a good class. He's hearing horror stories from CS1, for example, where in a class bigger than this, they have one person or no people showing up, and poor Professor Mushtaq is lecturing to an empty room. Which we should at least show Chuck the positive side of RCOS in that regard. The coordinators, Nia and Hunter, will be handling the attendance. So if you have any problems with attendance, please talk to them. But it should be the same thing as before. The venue is already up. All somebody has to do is put it up there and show the QR code, and then Professor Makis and Hunter and Nia will be able to hopefully get the recording up on Venue as well, although if there are issues with that, we will adapt. The important thing about this is that the following Tuesday, your presentations start. So unfortunately, this Friday meeting is the last meeting before we start the presentation schedule. Okay, so I want to make sure that you guys are aware that on Tuesday, presentations are going to be started. And, by the way, speaking of how late we're getting in the semester, today is the last day for your add or remove pass no credit or audits. So, be careful with that. Make sure that if you are planning to do something like that, you do it now. I know there are always loops nothing is ever final. There are always loops you can jump through to get things done late, but it's a lot easier if you just handle it with the scheduling that we have. And so we are right about here. We have one more week, and then we're going to start presentations. And remember that presentation time doesn't mean that once you present, you just can be done. You should actually continue, or you have the ability to continue to work on your projects during the presentation week when you're not presenting or preparing your presentation. You're welcome to keep working on your contributions. It's a good way to get in those last minute pushes. I know nothing quite gets people working like a deadline, and our deadline is coming up on the 20th. There are no workshops yet. I've had a few people reach out to me. I will let you know as soon as I know if there will be any more. The ones I've heard seem pretty cool. I'm hoping somebody will come through on it, but as of right now, not so much. As of last night, there were 4 additional mid-year reviews. We will get to those as soon as we can. And remember that if you still submit, we will continue to try to give you feedback, but the closer we get to the end of the semester, the less time there is for you to recover. So the less motivation there is for us to try to give you feedback on what you've done up to that point. So please try to get things in if you can. If you're not going to, that's fine as well, but we are still going to ask you to go through and do some peer reviews, look at what other people did. That will give you at least a feeling for what, where other people are. And if your submissions, we walked through this all pretty thoroughly yesterday on how to do or Tuesday on how to do peer reviews and how to look at your peer reviews online. So, please go through and make sure you do that. It's a good source of feedback. It's a lot of work for Professor Makis and myself and the mentors who are required to go through and evaluate some certain number of them. So make sure that we do it. And if you're doing peer reviews, comments are your friend. It really is useful to have you leave comments. There's an additional comments block on the gradable. It's really useful for you to leave comments as to why you left the grade you left. It helps people out. It helps them know what's going on. I think the only other thing I wanted to say about, here we go. Continue to accept submissions, but we cannot guarantee peer reviews or how quickly we will get to them, particularly with me being on vacation. I'm going to try to wrap a couple of them up, maybe while my son's driving Monday, or tomorrow, but we'll see what happens. Just to give you some ranking there, the most important part of the rubric is the overall, because the overall kind of says, after weighing both the number of commits and the length, where do we think you're standing? How much work do we think how much work can we see? Can we give you credit for based on what you've submitted? That's probably the most important one. 4 and 5 is you're going good. Don't slack off, but if you maintain at that rate, you're going to certainly do well. 3 is what we call nominal. You've done some stuff. We can see that you've made some effort, but it would be nice if you ramp that up if you want to get the best grades. It doesn't have to, it's not an indication that you're in trouble at that point. It means you're certainly on par or on track, but raising it up a little bit will, kind of help you to guarantee a good grade. Below 3, you're really not contributing as much as we'd hoped. So below 3, you really have to look at it and think about what you can do to get your contributions up and make yourself viable. So just keep that in mind. I think that's about Any questions on that? Any questions at all? I've noticed that the questions have kind of ramped off. Hope that probably means I'm going over this stuff way too often. I am assigning slots after tonight. I don't want to be doing it next week. So I will probably lock down that form and assign things. You should plan on 10 minutes, short Q&A to follow. We need to do about 8 per day in order to get things done. And if you want to sign up, it is right here. Right, you just click on that thing or follow the link or follow the QR code, and you end up here. And what you're going to find out is it's even worse than it was, or not as it was before. Everything is getting full. There's three spots left in the second week, all of them on Tuesday. There are 2 spots left Friday so there's 5 spots left outside of the first day. So you can imagine that if you don't sign up in the next few minutes, if you wait till tonight, you're probably going the first day. So the people who are procrastinating because they don't have time are the ones that are going to have to go first, right? So just keep that in mind. If you're not signed up yet, please sign up and sign up quickly, so that you don't get stuck. There are advantages to going first, by the way. I know looking at the sign up, it doesn't appear that most of you believe that, but there are advantages to going first. One, if you really bomb it, I'll forget how badly you bombed it before we do the actual final grades, right? If you do it on the last day, then I'm going to remember. I'm also going to say that this room will hold apparently, and here's what I had. For the presentation schedule, 15 to 25 projects signed up so far, so we still have about 10 projects to go. I am going to say that this room holds 31 people or 32 people, depending on which one of the signs you actually believe. We're at about half that. We're at 12 today. So we're well below that. We're at about a third of that, a little more than a third. I did mention that I'd be bringing in shirts again. If you guys come and see any of the projects, I'll guarantee you a shirt. It may not fit because I don't know what sizes I have. I think these tend to be larger shirts, so at least you'll be able to get in it, even if you have to wear it as a sack. But if you come in, I guarantee that I'll have the IBM shirts during the presentations. If I don't, I'll run up and get them if I forget. They were just in my office. It's only about 100 feet from here, although it's about 300 feet up or something. So if you come during the presentations, I would like to fill up this room with the 32 we can, and there are 2 or 3 other unused rooms that we can overflow into if we have to, and project up there as well, I think. But we'll see how it goes. I would like to at least fill up the 31 or 32 seats that we have. So we will guarantee a shirt, at least one shirt to everybody, and we'll see how that last Friday, maybe we'll even do something else. The only other thing I have is status updates are due again on Monday, even though I'm gone and we're not going to have class on Tuesday. Status updates are still due. Please get them in. All right. Oh, one more final thing. Updated rainbow grades. Take a look. Your last status update is not in there yet. Just because it hasn't been graded yet, everything is in there. Let me know if there are any problems. Work hard, get contributions, do well. There's the venue. I am going to pop up the QR code for venue. All right, we are done. This is link to get to venue. And then the big one is the link to actually submit your being here, your code. All right? And we are done in 1 minute and 24 minutes. So please go ahead, join your small groups, get yourself started.